Okay, guys. Hi. Sashi, there's some background echoing from your end. Can you please mute the mic or change the microphone if possible? Hello. Hi. Hi, Preeti. Hi, Sashi. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
You're audible, but your voice is breaking in between.
1 second. How about now, Preeti? Is it better?
Yeah, it's good now.
Right. Okay. Sure. Okay. Let's just wait for 5 more minutes, guys, for the other people to join as well. And then we'll start the session. In the meanwhile, if anyone has any other queries or so, you can let me know.
Okay, so Shoaib, I want to ask one thing. I have joined as a fresher in cybersecurity right now.
Right.
So I'm hoping that this course will be helpful to me to improve my knowledge from the point of from the analysis perspective.
Definitely. Again, what job role have you joined for, Preeti, in cybersecurity?
I'm as a junior security engineer.
Junior security engineer, definitely, sure. Again, the CEH course is basically for people who are completely new to the domain of cybersecurity to get started. So you'll be learning all the endpoints, you'll be learning what is penetration testing, you'll be learning what vulnerability assessment is, what monitoring is, and you'll be working on the same tools that are used actually in organizations. So tools like Nessus, Burpsuit, Nmap, okay, or Wireshark. And so these are pretty common tools that you come across in organizations. So it's going to be very helpful for you because you'll be having a lifetime, real-time experience on these tools beforehand.
Yeah, and we are using Splunk. So are you explaining are you explain Splunk also?
Definitely, there's a topic of Splunk. Again, Splunk is a very huge tool. You need altogether a completely different course for it. But we'll be learning the basics of it. We'll learn what Splunk is, how you can monitor data, how you can analyze the data, how do you write the rules for preventing attacks. So basics of it, not in-depth knowledge, but yeah, we'll learn what Splunk is, what SOC tools are, SOC or SIEM tools are, and a brief overview on that.
Okay. And like I don't know, I need to ask this question to you or the other team. But are you providing any certificate of this, or it's just a course?
Again, the institute will be providing you a course completion certificate, Preeti. Anyhow, once the course is done. And if you're planning on writing CH certification, you can write an exam from EC Council. Okay. So they have something
Yeah.
called a certified ethical hacking certification. And that usually costs
Okay.
around $500 or so. Okay. And again, if you're
Okay.
already working as a professional, sometimes the company bears the expenses for that. Okay. So
Yeah,
if you're
yeah, yeah.
planning on writing the certification, I can help you out with that. I act as a, again, off the record, I help in proxy as well. So you will write the exam, but I have contacts to check your answers before you submit the question paper or the answer
Okay,
sheet.
okay, great.
So that just guarantees that you won't fail the exam in any way. That's it.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions, guys? Yeah, Sudarshan, you have raised your hand.
Can you learn basic to advanced?
Yes, again, CH is going to cover from the very scratch to intermediate level. So again, if you're not at all familiar with what cybersecurity is, this is the course to go to, where you learn each and every endpoint. Okay,
Yes,
to
sir.
not up
Course
to the
duration.
advanced intermediate level. Yeah, Sudarshan.
Course duration. Yeah.
What do you
Hello.
say? I didn't get you.
Hi, Shoaib. This is Shashi.
Yes, Sashi.
Yeah, my aim is to get the CH certification. So after completing this course, I can go and take the exam, right?
You can definitely. Again, if you're planning on writing the certification, just give me a call, Sashi. Okay. Again, as I've mentioned, I have contacts from EC Council, so I usually keep getting these discount coupons and all. So that
Oh, that
would
is great.
reduce the price for certification. And again, as I've mentioned, I help in proxying as well. So yeah. So once you're done with the course, you can again I'll send you the dumps as like the mock questions and
Yeah,
mock.
got it. Yes, yeah, I understand. Yeah, okay.
I'll help you out with that. Not an issue.
Sure, sure. Yeah, thank you very much.
Sir,
Sudarshan,
course
you were asking.
duration. Yes, sir.
Course duration is for 45 days. Sudarshan will have classes from Monday to Friday every day.
And how much?
Okay, for 1 hour.
How much, sir, for the course
Course
price?
price. The price for the course is 8,000 rupees, Sudarshan.
8,000.
8,000
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, right. So again, right, I guess everyone is here.
Hi Shoaib, this is Sambit here.
Hi, Samit.
Shoaib, I wanted to ask what would be the career opportunities after this? Like, I am as of now, I'm working as a Spring Boot developer in Infosys. So, can I switch to cybersecurity, and how is the market in cybersecurity as of now?
Definitely, Samit. But before that, what's your experience in the present working field?
It
How
would
many?
be 2.5 years almost.
2.5.
3.5.
3.5. Okay, okay. Not an issue at all. So if you're planning on shifting to cybersecurity, it's not a big jump, it's not a big leap. Okay, but just to answer your question in a better way, what job opportunities or job roles you can apply for, you can visit a website called jobs.null.co.in. This is a website that I usually recommend once the students are done with the course. Okay, so this is a website specifically for jobs in the cybersecurity domain. Okay, so again, these are all the domains, subdomains in cybersecurity or the fields. Again, if you're a complete fresher, these are the job roles you can apply for pen tester job roles, information security job roles, okay, security researcher job roles, or security engineer job roles. So I guess Preeti is a security engineer, as she mentioned earlier. Okay, so these are all the job roles you can apply for. Again, this list keeps getting updated from time to time. So there's a lot of opportunities as well. Okay, so there's a lot of job openings. There's a lot of again, these are the various types of job roles you can apply for. Okay, and the market is pretty good. Okay, although just like in any other field, there's tough competition. So you need to be a skilled person at least to show them practically. If not, if you don't have a certification, at least you need to showcase those skills in your resume. Okay,
So,
and we'll learn about those skills. And yeah,
I heard people talking about some certifications. So, I don't have much idea about those. Like, can you give me a overview? Like, what
right.
certification?
Again,
like
definitely. So our course right now is from EC Council. So EC Council is the main body, okay, which takes up the courses and certifications for cyber security specifically. So if I just search for EC Council, as you can see, the main organization. Okay, so this EC Council also conducts a certification exam. Okay, so that's around for $500, and that is the same course we are learning about right now. Okay, certified ethical hacking. So if you're a complete fresher, this certification is a requirement by some of the organizations, CEH. Okay, so again, this contains a 125 questions exam. It's a multiple choice based question where you need to get at least 75% of them right. Okay, again, no retakes also. If you fail in the exam, you won't be getting any refund also. It's quite a tough one as well. Okay, so this is what the certification is usually required by organizations. Okay, once CEH is done, after having an experience of 1 or 2 years, then you can jump to other certifications as well, like LPT, Licensed Penetration Tester, ECSA, EC Council Security Analyst, and so on and so.
okay, understood, sure.
Right. So if you want to get a list of all the certifications also, you can just click on programs in this, and you can see these are all the certifications actually. CEH, Forensics Investigator, Incident Handler, okay, and SOC Analyst job roles, and so on. So Licensed Penetration Tester for different subdomains or specializations in cybersecurity. Okay, but to get started in this domain, CH is the prima factor. Okay, the main important course to get ahead with.
And Shoaib, like in the course content, you have said that you would be helping us understand how to hack Wi-Fi's and all. So, do we need to buy any hardware for that, like the root?
Yes, that is the only topic for the Wi-Fi pen testing part, where you need to buy a separate hardware device, which is nothing but a packet injection chip. Okay, so again, if you're planning on doing penetration testing on wireless devices, only then I would recommend it. If not, do not waste your money. Okay, so if you're interested in wireless pen testing or IoT device pen testing, only then I would recommend purchasing such devices. If not, just know how the practical is done, just know how the mechanism of that attack is working. Okay, and that should be sufficient, because most of the times the company itself will provide you the tools to work on. Okay, the hardware or the software tools, so you don't have to purchase them separately, but you need to know at least how to use them if you're provided them in your arsenal.
And one more thing, Shoaib, like I have a Mac, like I don't have Windows. Will that be a problem here?
Not much of a problem, Samit, but you again in Windows, when we talk about Windows, I'll be using a tool called VMware. Okay, so this is again, VMware is a paid application. You don't, it's around $300 or so, but I'm using the cracked one for it. Again, exactly similar, no difference at all. But for Mac operating system, finding these cracked applications is quite tough. So you'll have to use an alternative called VirtualBox. Okay, other than
Correct.
that, not much difference at all.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay.
Right. Okay, so yeah, let's get started, guys, without any further ado. Right, so our course today, or the demo today, is on Certified Ethical Hacking version 12, the latest version of the course. And again, as I've mentioned, course is specifically designed for people who are completely new to this domain of cybersecurity. And a quick formal introduction before we get started. My name is Mohammed Shoaib. I'm a cybersecurity trainer certified from EC Council. I have a certification of CEH and ECSA. And again, around 5+ years of experience in the teaching domain, teaching and certifications in cybersecurity. Okay, so before we get started, let's try to clear a common misconception about what is hacking and what is ethical hacking. Okay, so people usually take this two terms as one and the same, but no, again, there's a huge difference between them. So when we talk about hacking, firstly, okay, this is the process of trying to gain access to information systems. Okay, these information systems could be anything. They could be as small as a mobile phone to as big as a cloud network, okay, or a database or a web application server. Okay, and this gaining access to these devices is done without the permission or without the consent of the organization. So if I'm a hacker, I try to get access to these devices, I try to steal the data from these devices without the person owning that device having any clue about it. Okay, and this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit, okay, for their own personal gains. They can steal the data, destroy the data, or sell that data to other crucial vendors. Okay, and sometimes they're just so mischievous, they even do it for fun. Okay, just for the sake of it. Now, if hacking seems such a malicious task, if it is such a criminalistic job, why do we have a course called ethical hacking is the second question. And how is hacking becoming legal over here? Because ethical in the sense is nothing but legal. How can hacking become legal? So if you have to define ethical hacking out, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. Okay, so there are professional hackers who try to find the weaknesses or the loopholes in the security of these information systems, and this is done with the permission, with the prior consent of the organization. Okay, so the organization gives you the permission. Okay, the authority gives you the permission to find the weaknesses in their security, and once you find those loopholes, you report it back. You tell the organization about them so that they can fix it up. So they'll apply the appropriate patches for it and they close the vulnerability. So thereby with ethical hacking, you're trying to find the vulnerabilities or the loopholes in the information systems with the consent of the organization. And once you report it back, they patch it up and you're increasing the security of the organization. Okay, so you're not causing any harm in turn. Okay, but you're trying to increase the security by preventing hackers from performing these malicious attacks. Is this clear, guys? I hope the definitions are clear. What is hacking? What is ethical hacking? And how they are different from one another.
Yes, sure.
Right. Now, depending on these two definitions, guys, we can categorize the types of hackers as well. So there's someone known as a black hat hacker, a gray hat hacker, and a white hat hacker. So these are the common terms that you'll keep coming across. Okay. A black hat hacker is someone who's also termed as a cyber criminal. He performs hacking for his own benefit. Okay. And this is done without asking for consent. On the other end of the spectrum, we have someone called as a white hat hacker. Okay. A white hat hacker can also be termed as an ethical hacker who performs ethical hacking or penetration testing to find the vulnerabilities in the systems and report those vulnerabilities back to increase the security. And in between, there's another third category, kind of a mysterious guy called as a gray hat hacker. Now, he has both the qualities of a black hat as well as a white hat. Like a black hat hacker, he doesn't ask for permission or consent. But once he finds a vulnerability, like a white hat hacker, he reports it back. He doesn't take advantage of it. He does not misuse that vulnerability or exploit it. He reports it back to the organization. But there is a minor catch. He does not do this for free. Okay, so he does it in return for a bounty. Okay, a bounty is something which benefits him. It could be a financial reward, it could be a reputational reward, anything which benefits his career. Okay, and in turn, since he's giving vulnerabilities for bounties, he's also called or referred to as bug bounty hunters. He's finding bugs in the security of the organization in return for a bounty. Now, all these three types of hackers, whether you take a black hat hacker or a gray hat hacker or a white hat hacker, they perform hacking or ethical hacking in a certain number of steps. Okay, in organizations as well, you follow the same steps. Okay, to perform and achieve the successful result. Okay, and these steps collectively are called as hacking cycle or cyber kill chain. Okay, so whenever you work for an organization, hacking cycle or cyber kill chain, these terms are very commonly heard. Okay, this is nothing but the collective process of performing hacking or ethical hacking to receive the or to achieve the end objective, the security vulnerabilities and the exploitation. Okay, so let me list out these steps first and then we'll go through them one by one so you have a better idea on the whole course. So first step is called as information gathering. Okay, it can also be referred to as reconnaissance or footprinting. Second step is known as scanning. Sometimes companies also refer it to as enumeration. Okay. Third step is gaining access. Fourth step is maintaining access. And the last step is reporting or clearing traces. Okay. Now the reason why I specifically mentioned or over here in the last step is because that is where it makes all the difference between a white hat hacker and a black hat hacker. So if you're an ethical hacker, you try to perform the first 4 steps in the same order. And in the end, you report the vulnerabilities back to the organization. If you're a black hat hacker, obviously you're not going to be reporting anything. You will take your advantage, you'll exploit the vulnerabilities, you get your data or your information, and you remove the evidences. So you're trying to be completely anonymous. You try to hide your identity. So that is nothing but clearing traces in simple languages. Okay. So again, before we dive into this deeper, any questions or doubts up to this part, guys? Again, please feel free to interrupt it at any certain point if you have a question. Any questions, guys? Preeti, Sambit.
Shoaib,
Sure.
see what
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please go ahead, guys. Preeti, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Are you providing us any like syllabus book, like what points we are covering?
Am I providing any syllabus? What, sorry?
Like whatever points we are going to cover in the course. So do you have like all
she
the
is
points
expecting
to
notes.
share with me?
Course no, I think she is expecting the course contents, I guess.
Oh,
Course
I
content.
thought the
Yeah.
Yes, it's
institute has.
content.
Yeah, I thought the institute has already shared this with all the students. If not, anyhow, at the end of the session, I'll just mail this document to everyone.
Okay.
Okay. Sashi, you are having a question.
Yes, Shoaib. See, when you talked about grey hat hacker, right? See, after performing the fourth step, so you're saying that in the fifth step they are going to report it to bounty, right? You said big bug bounty.
Okay.
That is what the difference, right, between black hat
Yeah,
hacker
again,
and
if it's a white hat or a gray hat hacker, they'll definitely report the vulnerabilities back to the organization. If it's a black hat hacker, he definitely won't be reporting it. He'll take the advantage out of the organization's data, and then he removes the evidences that someone hacked their organization at all. Okay, so he tries to stay anonymous.
okay, but the gray hat hacker doesn't take the permission, right? Shoaib?
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand from the difference between mainly black hat hacker and grey hat hacker, because both are
Oh,
not taking
yeah,
the
both are not
permission.
the permission, but black hat hacker uses that information or exploits the vulnerability. Gray hat hacker does not do that. Okay, he does not cross the line there. He stops there and he reports it back. But he needs a bounty in return for reporting that vulnerability. He needs a reward for it. Okay.
Okay, thanks, Shoaib.
Now, yeah, proceeding further. So let's get into each of these steps one by one in much more detail. So first step is information gathering. Now, again, as the name itself says, this step involves the types of hackers, whatever it gray hat, black hat, or white hat, they try to achieve or gather as much data as possible about the target organization. And this information or data is gathered passively. Again, the point has to be noted, guys, that this information needs to be gathered passively. What I mean by passively is that the organization has no clue about it, that someone is trying to gather information about them. So you gather the information about your target from other third-party sources, okay, on the internet. Now, the main question over here is what kind of information are we trying to gather, or what information do we need to get started? Okay, so this is the information as follows. Okay, so first you need to try to find the IP addresses or the range of IP addresses used by the target. Then the whois records, understanding who is hosting the website, when was it first hosted, when will it expire, when was it last updated, and so on and so. Again, IP addresses, guys, just in case if anyone does not have an idea about it, it's your identity. So each device on the internet has a specific unique identity, which is known as a public IP. Okay, so we need to find those identities, those names of those devices. Okay, then we have then we have something called as DNS records. Okay. Every organization has a DNS server which links all their main domains and their subdomains to their exact public IPs. So we need to get the DNS records of the organization. Then the employee details, such as the contact numbers of the employees, the phone numbers, the fax numbers, their email addresses, their usernames and passwords, if anything got leaked on the internet. All that information falls under employee details. Okay. Then the domains of the website, subdomains of the website, okay, and the operating system information. What OS are they using for their main important servers? Okay. Now, might seem practically, when you hear about it, might seem that this is practically impossible, getting this information from the internet, but it's just a click of a few buttons, guys. So if I show you a very basic example, let's say if I wanted to get the DNS records for any certain organization, all I have to do is go to the browser, and in the browser, I can search for a website called DNS Dumpster. Again, a very popular website in the cybersecurity domain. Now, this is capable of getting me or fetching me the DNS details of any organization. All I have to do is enter the domain name over here. So any example domain, guys, that you want to give me, any company domain name? Okay, if not, let's just go with Wipro, a very common MNC in India, wipro.com. and I'll click on search. And now you can notice this gives me the DNS information for the Wipro organization. So first it tells me that Wipro servers are located in United States. So there are 4 DNS servers for Wipro. These are their exact host names, okay, and the exact public IPs. So this is how your IPv4 address looks like, guys. Okay, so these IP addresses are very important for a hacker or ethical hacker to proceed in the further steps of scanning. Okay, so it needs to make a note down of all this information. So this is the DNS information. So there are 4 DNS servers for Wipro. These are the exact public IPs. Then there's one mail server. So Wipro is using outlook.com for their mails. Okay, and this is the exact public IP for that mail server through which all the mails are being routed. Scroll down much further. These are the host records linking the domains of the Wipro and the subdomains of Wipro to their exact public IPs. Okay, so these are all the endpoints for Wipro's organization, the public internet facing endpoints. Okay, and scroll down much further. It gives us the complete network topology. Okay, how Wipro's subdomains and domains are connected to one another. Okay, so if you were to ask me, so a common question among the students is sir, is this information legal? Can or will we be tracked, or will we be facing any trouble for accessing this website? No. Okay, Wipro needs to give that information themselves. Okay, so but it is located on different places on the internet. DNS dumpster does the job of allocating all that information and putting it in one single location. Okay, putting it in one single web page. Okay, that's it. It's gathering information from different sources on the internet and putting it in one place for us to understand. Okay, so it is not illegal in any way to access these websites. Okay, so again, this is a very basic prime example, guys. As you can see, with the click of a few buttons, I've got all the DNS information for the organization, and this can be repeated for any website. So if I search for, let's say, tesla.com, works for anything. Okay, it needs to be a domain, it needs to be available on the internet for you to search for it. That's it, obviously. Okay, so any questions or doubts up to this part, guys, before I proceed into the next step?
No, sir.
Right,
Go ahead.
perfect. Now after information is done, we go with the scanning phase. So this is again a crucial phase. If I have to define it out, this is the process of getting some extra information, okay, by making active connections. So a point needs to be noted over here. In information gathering, we have got the information passively. In scanning, we get the information actively. What I mean by actively is that you directly contact the target servers and you fetch the information from those servers. So if you have to categorize scanning, it's into 3 types. There's something called as network scanning, port scanning, and vulnerability scanning. Network scanning is where you can find all the active devices in a network. Okay, so if you have a target organization, again, if we take the example of Wipro.com, in that target organization, what all devices exist? So what servers are existing? What firewalls are they using? What routers? What switches? What client operating systems? So what all exactly devices are they using in the network? Now, once you have a complete idea, a mental image of the devices used in that organization, then you try to figure out the open ports and services used on those devices. Okay, so every organization has multiple servers, DNS servers, DHCP servers, okay, FTP servers, SMTP servers, whatnot. Okay, on those devices, you have ports, open ports and services running. So you need to figure out which services or which applications are they using. Then finally, you perform vulnerability scanning to figure out on those devices, on those services, are there any weaknesses you can attack on. So this is an automated process where you use the top-notch tools, okay, to find out the latest vulnerabilities in any application, in any device. So throughout this scanning process, we'll be using two important tools. One is Nmap for network and port scanning, and another tool called Nessus. So you can just search for Nessus on the internet, and you get the first link, as you can see. Quite an expensive tool actually. So if I scroll down, you can see it's around $4,000 or so, or $4,500 or so. Okay, so again, one good thing is this also gives you a trial version with which you can scan for 16 devices in your network. So we'll be using the same trial version, which works exactly the same way. So we'll have an understanding of how to use this tool. So let me show you how to open it up. I have it installed on my system. Just a second. Localhost. So this is how your Nessus login page looks like, guys.
So it's running in your system, is it?
It is running in my system. I do have it installed on my system. So I'll show you how to install it on yours as well and how to perform these different types of scans. So as you can see, this is a tool which is capable of performing these types of scans: basic network scan, port scan, advanced vulnerability scan, malware scans, web application scans, and so on. So, okay. Once you perform a scan, it shows you the results by categorizing the vulnerabilities. So previously, I've scanned for 3 devices in my network, and once I've scanned them, it shows the vulnerabilities in each and every one of them. Okay, it is categorizing the vulnerability on the impact it can create. So from the information based, you have critical vulnerabilities, and in an organization, you should never have critical or high or medium vulnerabilities. Okay, that gives an image telling that hackers can easily attack your systems and get access remotely. Okay, so if you open on any of these devices, it shows you the vulnerabilities as well. So as you can see, it shows me weak passwords. So VNC server has a password named password itself. Okay, so secure, and it gives you a solution as well. Secure the VNC server with a strong password. Okay, another one, let's say Unreal backdoor. Okay, so there's a service called IRC which is running, or a version which has a backdoor on it, and it can allow attackers to execute arbitrary code, which means attackers can remotely control our system, remotely execute commands. Okay, so this tool allows you to tell you what vulnerabilities are existing on your system on those various services, and also what do you do to mitigate them. What is the problem, and how do you remove that problem? Yeah, Sashi, you were asking a question. Your mic's unmuted.
Yes, sure. Is this a port scanning or application scanning vulnerabilities?
Again, it's a port scanning tool. It will scan all the services on all those ports. So if your device has, again, every device has 65,535 ports, out of which some of them are used for various services. So it will scan each and every service which is running, okay, on those ports and tell you what vulnerability exists for what service.
One more question. Yeah, thank you, Shoaib. One more question. So we have one more scanning tool called Squalis. So what is that?
Qualys, QUALYS. Again,
Yeah,
same thing. It's also a vulnerability scanning tool. It is very similar to an SS. Okay, it's also a scanning and assessment tool. But since
that is also
Qualys does not,
port. Yeah, that is
yeah,
also port
same
scanning
thing.
or application. Yeah.
Exactly
Okay.
similar, no difference at all. It is also a network vulnerability scanner, which means it can scan any device in your network. Okay, on those devices, whatever services are running, it will scan for each and every service. Okay.
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 It can scan web applications as well, or any third-party applications as well. Okay, but the reason why I don't show Qualys is because that does not have a trial version for me, so I can't practically show how the working of the tool is. Okay, but Nessus does give me a practical opportunity to show, so that is why I prefer Nessus in our course. Nothing
Sure.
more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Sure.
Your scanning is done. So after we do the scanning with these top-notch tools in the industry, then we go to the next phase, which is gaining access. Okay. So gaining access again is where once you have gathered all the information, once you have all the input required, you directly attack the system. Okay. Now there are multiple techniques. There are various ways to attack a system. Okay, depending on its vulnerabilities. So it's a huge concept. It covers a vast variety of topics. To list them out, here those are. Okay, so the first topic that we learned in gaining access is system hacking. So if you have a Windows operating system, doesn't matter which one, Windows 7, 8, or 10 or 11, and if you're logged out of that system, let's say you've forgotten the password, or you need to crack open and get access to the internal files, then we learn how we can do that with system hacking. Okay, so we basically learn how you can crack a Windows operating system password, and if you're unable to crack it, how can you bypass it and still get access to the internal data? Okay. Then comes malware attacks. Malwares are nothing but derived from two different words called malicious softwares. Okay. So we'll learn what these malicious softwares are. What are the categories of such? Okay. Viruses, worms, trojans, spyware, rootkit, whatnot. We'll practically learn how hackers create them. How do you defend your system from these malwares? And also, most importantly, if your system is already attacked by a malware, how do you detect that? Okay. Then comes a bonus concept called malwares advanced. Okay, this is not included in the CH curriculum, guys. If you have any programming background, okay, if you are a developer, let's say Python or Java or whatever, we learn how hackers can develop malwares. Okay, use by programming development languages to create these malwares. Okay, so very basic introduction on malware development. Okay, I'll share the resources for those programming languages and also the code for it. Okay, again, this is just the bonus concept, guys. Okay, Just in case if you're a developer, this might help you out. It is not a mandatory concept. Okay. Then comes network penetration testing, where
Hello,
we
sir.
learn. Yeah, Sudarshan.
Yes, sir. I know also Java and Python is helping me also to learn cybersecurity.
Yeah, again, it's not a mandatory concept, but you have that knowledge of Python or any other programming knowledge. It's good enough. So
Okay,
it
sir.
can allow you to open opportunities in the malware development field. Okay, creating and writing your own malwares. Okay, so
Shoaib,
that's
recently we have seen a log4j one.
right. Apache vulnerability.
What is that, Shoaib?
Again, that's a vulnerability in the Apache server for Log4j, a web application vulnerability. Okay, so
Okay.
even that shown in this Nessus tool. If I scroll down, you can see over here Log4 shell. Okay, so Nessus is a tool which shows you even the latest of vulnerabilities and how to scan for them. So Log4j CV detection of Apache. So this was a vulnerability which allowed hackers to remotely control the Apache server through the log
Okay.
files. So we'll learn what that vulnerability is as well. So with time, latest vulnerabilities keep getting released. So if you have any question on any of those, you can ask me separately, not an issue.
Sure, Shoaib. Thank you.
Okay. So again, we can scan for such vulnerabilities using these tools like Nessus and understand them as well. Okay. We'll learn what that vulnerability is. We'll learn how to remediate or remove that vulnerability as well. Okay. Now coming back to the gaining access part. So then comes network pen testing. So in network, you have multiple devices, as I've explained, DNS, DHCP, FTP, SNMP, whatever. Okay, we learn how to attack each of these devices, how to find vulnerabilities in each of these devices, and what can these attacks do. Okay, so what are the different types of attacks you can perform in a network, such as sniffing attack, man-in-the-middle attack, DOS attack, denial of service attacks, or hacking Wi-Fi routers and cracking the passwords. All this comes under network pen testing. Okay, attacking networking devices and finding vulnerabilities in them. Then comes social engineering, where we learn how hackers create phishing pages. So 90% of your cyber threats are due to malware and phishing attacks only. Okay, where hackers try to pose as a genuine person and try to get information out of you. Okay, the weakest link in any organization is the human using that computer itself. It's not the information device, it is the person using it. Okay, so even though no matter how secure your device or organization is, if a human makes an error somewhere, all that security falls. Okay, so we learn what these attacks are, how hackers manipulate users into giving away their credentials, and how can you detect or distinguish between a phishing page and an original page. Okay, so we learn all that in social engineering. Then comes web application pen testing. Again, there's a completely different course altogether for web application pen testing, guys, but we'll cover the very basics of it in CEH. Okay, so we learn what website vulnerabilities are, how hackers use these vulnerabilities to attack servers, web servers, and web applications and get backend data or database access, and so on. Okay. To list out a few vulnerabilities, we have something like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, broken authentication, file upload vulnerability, and so on. So during this phase, we'll be using a very important tool called burpsuit. Okay, so burpsuit is the top-notch tool used for web application pen testing. It's a proxy tool. So we learn what that tool is and how to use it. Okay. Then comes hacking mobile phones. Last endpoint, how to hack an Android phone and get a remote connection of that Android phone with a malware. Okay, and then we have something called VA, vulnerability assessment. So once you get a report from a tool like such as Nessus, you need to verify this report. You need to manually attack on each vulnerability and verify if the tool is giving correct result or false positives. That is known as vulnerability assessment, assessing each and every vulnerability shown by the tool and verifying if it is actually working or not. Okay, how do you do that? By attacking on that vulnerability. That is nothing but penetration testing. Okay, so whenever you hear the term VAPT, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, it's nothing but trying to assess and understand what a vulnerability is and attacking on that vulnerability and figuring out if it is actually working or if it is just a false positive on your network. Okay, so we learn what that VAPT is as well. Now, again, that ends the gaining access part. After that, you have two simple topics, not that long: maintaining access and reporting or clearing traces. So in maintaining access, we learn how hackers maintain persistent connections. So how to escalate privileges. If you're a secondary user, how to get admin privileges on that system and how to maintain that persistent connection. What I mean by persistent connection is that if the user restarts the system or shuts it down and still starts it after a very long time, how do you still maintain that connection with the system? How do you still download the data remotely? Okay, that is known as maintaining access. After that, we have reporting or clearing traces, where I'll show you how you can generate a report and submit to the organization, how to perform or write a report. Okay, or so from hacker's perspective, how to remove these evidences. Okay, how to clear the traces, how to delete log files, and so on and so. Okay, so the whole course is designed in both perspectives, both hackers' perspective of attacking and ethical hackers' perspective of defending the systems. Okay, again, completely practical implemented, no theoretical nonsense. Okay, so we'll have the it's a 20-40 ratio, guys. Every day we'll have a class for 1 hour, where the first 20, 15, 20 minutes we'll discuss the theoretical part of it. We'll understand logically what the vulnerability is. Okay, and the remaining 40 minutes or 35 minutes we'll discuss the practical part of it, how to perform that in a real-time scenario. Okay, again, there's a few bonus concepts as well, so let me show those. Right, so we have topics like Internet of Things, reverse engineering, cryptography, cloud security, and Splunk. Okay, so these are some bonus topics, guys, that we'll learn throughout the course. Okay, so again, the course is for 45 days, guys. We'll have classes from Monday to Friday every day for 1 hour. Okay, and the timing should be same. It should be 9 a.m. as well. Okay, from I guess I was planning on starting the batch from tomorrow itself, guys, the first class, but I'll look into it. I'll see how many students are joining, and if some more demos are needed to be conducted, we'll have demo sessions more. Okay, if not, we'll be starting the classes from tomorrow itself. Depends on the strength of the students. Okay, so yeah, that's that. But if not, no matter what it be, Monday will definitely be the first class. If I'm not taking a class in this week, the batch will first short start on Monday. The first class will be on Monday, guys. Okay. If I'm not starting in these days. Okay, anything else that I've missed out? Yeah, guys, any questions or doubts from your end in the meanwhile? Preeti, Samvit, Sashi Kumar, Sudarshan.
Shoaib, can you share your contact numbers? Yeah.
This content, 1 second, I'll do one thing.
So your
Guys,
contact number, mobile number.
contact. Oh yeah, I'll share this document. This document has a contact number as well. So if you have any technical questions or so, you can contact me on that number. Let me do one thing. I'll share this via mail. So if possible, guys, just drop your email in the chat box. Okay, and I'll share this document via mail.
Which field is more tough, sir? Development or cybersecurity?
I didn't get you. Can you please repeat that question, Sashi?
Sir, which field is more tough, sir? Like more headache and more stressful? Development or cybersecurity? I'm asking those.
Headache in this, that depends. Again, it's a very subjective question, I would say. If you're interested in that field, no matter what domain you take, shouldn't be a kind of a headache. Okay, but again, with cybersecurity, comparatively, it's lesser of what you say stress. Okay, because you have tools to perform the jobs. Most of the times, it's automation. Okay. Secondly, okay, you also need to know the manual methods. Okay, so first you let the tool do its job. That completes 70% of your job. The remaining 30% is manual work. You have to verify the reports from tools. You have to assess, understand the report properly, and logically apply your knowledge, okay, and understand how to attack on that vulnerability, okay, and verification. So you don't need to create things, you need to test things. So you need to have a thinking out of the box approach, okay. So you need to keep on researching from time to time. Cybersecurity is one domain, guys, where you have to keep on updating yourself from time to time, okay. Every single day there's a new vulnerability, every single day there's a new exploit. You have to understand that vulnerability and keep updating yourself, okay. So it's one thing where you don't get bored of it, and that is one guarantee, okay. From where I started today, things are a lot different. So what tools I used 5 years ago, only some of them I am still using them, and most of the tools have been replaced with the latest ones and better ones, okay. So this is one field, again, which I'll tell you for sure, which you have to keep on updating yourself from time to time. If you're not updating yourself, again, you'll be pushed back. Okay.
Yeah,
Preeti, you asked me for the content as well. Please share me your email address so I can share the document. Yeah, guys. Does anyone have any other question? Oh yeah, one important thing which I forgot to mention. Each and every class, guys, will be recorded. Okay, so we'll be sharing the Google Drive link for the recordings as well. Just in case if you're missing out on a class, you'll be getting the recordings as well. Okay, you'll be getting the notepad files, the course documentation. I'll be sharing an official course document, the course browser. No, sorry, not the browser. Sorry, the course content file. Okay, the documentation from EC Council. Okay, courseware. Okay, and you'll be getting the notepad files, notes for each class. And as I've mentioned, if you're missing out on any class, you'll be getting the recordings as well. Right. So I've just got 2 emails, guys. Anyone else who needs this file? Preeti, can you hear me? I guess you're AFK.
Can you send it to me also, Shoaib?
Yeah, please share the email, guys, on the chat box. Please just drop your email and I'll share the document on that. Right. Preeti, can you hear me one last time? Hello. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, I've shared the document, guys. You can go through the content. If you have any questions regarding the content, please let me know. If you have any questions regarding the course timing or the fee structure or whatever, please contact the institute. Okay. So I deal with the technical part and they deal with the management part. Okay. So yeah, that's it. Nothing further for the session, guys. And again, please contact the institute and ask them the course starting date. Okay. If not, anyhow, I've shared the document. It has my WhatsApp number. Just drop a message and I'll let you know when the course is starting. Okay. Tomorrow, probably, if there's a good strength. If not, I'll take up a demo itself. Okay. So if I'm not starting it in this week, Monday for sure, I'll start the first class. Okay. So yeah, that's it, guys. Nothing further. I'll exit the session and I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
thank you, sir.